Hey, beautiful people. We are here for our very first episode of menlehwereason. This is the show that we get down to the real business of men. This afternoon we have Shawn Springer, a father of three young adults. And we have Dr. Christopher Walton, also a father of three teenagers. And I like the dynamics that we have, older father, somebody fathering older children, and you're fathering younger children, and I too have younger children, 13 and 7 years old. So man, tell me, what does fatherhood mean to you?
Boy, fatherhood is probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Granted, it wasn't a planned thing, but on reflection, children ranging from 30 going on 31 to 21. So my middle daughter, she's 25 going on 26. And that I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, becoming a parent really changed who I was as a person, who I am as a person.
We can talk a bit about that then changes, because that's going to be very important. Yeah. But Dr. Walton?
Agreed, definitely. Being a father definitely changes who you are. Yeah. Definitely makes you see yourself in a whole different light. Looking into a mirror of who you are, yeah. That's a hard thing to do. Yeah. But like I said, it's the best feeling, the best experience. It gives, people talk about giving your life meaning and everything else. Man, there's nothing more than that. There's nothing more than that.
Whoa. So there's so much conversation about fathers and fatherhood in society today. I mean, General, do you think that we value fathers and fatherhood?
That's a loaded question.
Oh, man.
If I were to say yes or no, I would say no. Straight off the bat, I would say no. We don't really value fathers as we should. Feminization and a whole host of other things that I wouldn't necessarily want to get into has had a significant impact on fathering and the importance of fathers in society. And I think now we are still basically paying the cost of how we socialize fathers to be back in the 70s and 80s. Currently, we are still paying that price of painting fathers as just the disciplinarian and the provider. So once you bring in home the check when the Friday evening comes, and the child misbehaves, and you hear wait till your father come home, and so that's fathering of the 70s and 80s. Now that we're into 2024, fathers are still paying that price, even though you have fathers now who are trying to be more involved, who are trying to be different, who are trying to change the script, basically. We still carrying that burden from that societal expectation back from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I mean, from a personal standpoint, I realize that we are really changing our narrative. Yeah, but it's happening. It's happening, Muriel. It's happening. I know, like when I go to swimming with my son and when I go to the schools, they're saying a lot more men. But one thing I want us to look at is the vision. I'm sure when you get children, when you have your children, you got a vision for your children. How does that feel?
I've seen a lot of men fall to the wayside because they don't have that. Yeah. They don't have that lack of vision. They don't have, what's your child gonna do? What's he gonna do? And I found out real early, if you don't have a vision for them, they're gonna just be everywhere.
Yeah.
And when you set it up, and it's not saying you make your child do this or you make your child do that, but how do I want you to be? What type of person do I want you to be? What kind of mannerisms should you have? And all of that goes into being I won't say put in quotes, but a presentable man. Yeah. Outside in society, where when people look at you, they'll be like, yeah, that's a dude. I like him. So not having that vision, let your child just be everywhere, everywhere at all times. So it doesn't give them that focus that they need. So it's a major thing to have in the household.
Yeah, but it's no two children are alike.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that's absolutely
no two children are alike.
And you can't handle them the same. I think we was talking the other day about having kids, and my oldest son, man, he'll run, and I'll be like, don't do that. He good, 16. My daughter, she'll go do something, and she'll go try to jump off, stairs or something. I'll be like, listen, don't do that. She good. My youngest at 11, don't jump off the stairs. She jumping. Don't do this. She jumping. So I learned that you deal with those two one way, but my youngest, I won't tell her don't jump. I'll be like, if you jump, bend your knees. Yeah. If you jump, tuck and roll. Because I know you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So let me just give it to you so when you do it, you'll survive.
Yeah.
So it's just how you deal with each one of them. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, man.
Same experience.
Yeah.
3 children. My first girl left, and I use this example all the time. If I'm going to town, and they say to her, Kimara, sit here, I'm going to town and come back. Kimara will sit there and don't move until I come back. Then second girl, Shanae, if I sit there, if I say Shanae, I'm going to come back, sit there. Shanae is, when I come back, and I say, Shanae, you move from there? Yes, Daddy. But why you move? Well, I need to use the bathroom. Would you want me to pee myself? She is very intellectual, so she would reason. If I say to my son, Shay, sit there, I'm going to town. When I turn to walk away, she will be walking behind me. So when I thought, okay, I had the first girl, obviously, again, not planning, not knowing what to do as a father, made some mistakes. So I said, okay, let's use these lessons with the first girl, with the second girl, recognize a whole totally different personality altogether. So another learning experience. So then I'm saying to myself, okay, I have the experience from the first girl and the second girl. With the third child, let me use these two combined experiences, and God give me a boy. So that's a whole different kettle of fish altogether.
So was it any pressure? Did you feel any pressure?
Of course.
Yeah, man. Tell me a bit about
that. You want to be a good father, for starters. Yeah. Well, not having a good relationship with my father, or not having a relationship at all with my father, I really wanted to be a present father. Okay. And not just present in terms of being present, but presence in terms of my presence being felt as well. So there was definitely a lot of pressure. So you want to be able to attend the PTA meetings and the school, the farm level meetings and all that. You want to be with them when there's school sports, when there are outings that you're permitted to be. You want to be there. I used to be fortunate enough to be able to read my daughter bedtime stories and so on and so forth. I didn't have all of that experience with the first child, and I can definitely see a difference in terms of the relationship. Yeah. But with the other two, being more involved, in particular with my middle girl, I can definitely feel the difference. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on any man who wants to be a good father. A lot of pressure.
But as men, we're expected to hold pressure. As fathers, they expect us to hold pressure. We're also expected to be providers. And providers meaning that we gotta go there and look for money. We gotta go work. We gotta sweat. How do we balance, the work to support family and spending time and that emotional component that I guess that you think we should always provide for them?
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
You talk about a balance. That's literally what it is. It's a balance.
The reason is,
we do it.
That's talk about the issues.
We juggle. That's what we do. Men are born jugglers. We keep stuff up in the air. We do what we got to do. I was 35 when I had my first, which is
that was old.
Awesome.
That was old.
No, that's what I'm saying. I had a little bit kind of sense, going in of how to kind of maneuver. And one thing I really understood when my son came, my first son, was like, I looked at him and I looked and I was like, man, all the stuff I didn't have, I'm going to make sure you have. But then again, I said all the stuff that I did have, I'm gonna make sure you got that too. Yeah. So the discipline, you getting your butt kicked, I'm gonna cut it. That too.
You gotta talk with us.
So people try to, you can't do this. No. That kept me. So having that, and then just being a balancing to one of the key things I learned, man, as a dad, was ask them what they want. Hey,
have a conversation.
What do you want to go to the store? You want those sneakers, or what's more important, me hanging out with you? And the younger they were, it was always, oh, I just want to be you. I just want to be around you. I just want to be there. And you were like, okay. So it wasn't really about the finances at that point. It was just being present. But then as they grow, they start, wanting the sneakers and the shoes, and be like, all right, I got to go, I may have to spend a little bit more time out here. But having that conversation with my kids, they like, all right, cool, we understand, we got it.
Yeah.
So it was having, like I said, knowing that juggling and that balancing and really having conversations with your kids, which I think a lot of people don't do. Have that conversation.
But we talk about balance. We're talking about spending time and being present. But how does the whole role of fathering and fatherhood impact our relationships with our spouses?
Man. I'm gonna speak from a married, and I hear a lot of people speak. So I'm sadly to say, one of the few. So married 23 years this year.
Yeah, congratulations.
One wife, 3 kids.
I can get there.
All the same, So I'm gonna speak from that because that's all I know.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Because you trying to balance all your time in between everybody, give everybody time. And me and my wife we have it, I'm gonna be flat out. We have it out all the time. Like, why you always calling me to discipline somebody? Come, wait till such and such did this. I'm like, so go beat they behind. What I'm saying? Go do something. Why do I always have to be the bad guy?
So again.
Why I always gotta be the guy? But, seeing that and even understanding that balance is something that we got to deal with every day. I know I sit down every day and I come through, especially when I get to the weekend, I mental note. Man, how much time did I spend with this person? How much time did I spend with that person?
Whoa.
Did I go outside and play with CJ? Did I do this? All right, I know my wife, I know if I slip on that, she gonna be there. So I ain't even got to worry about that. She'll let me know you ain't spending no time. Yeah. But the kids, you literally got to sit down and almost map it out. Like who did what and who did this and I did over here and it make you tired, boy.
That's structure. They got some people that got trained for that structure.
Man. But the thing is, you have to make the time. Well, I think our situations are a little different. My first daughter, by the time I realized that my then ex-girlfriend was pregnant, we had already broken up.
Wow.
So we then it was more of a visiting type situation. Yeah. So we would just get to see her on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then eventually she came to live with me for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. But then she went back home when she was around 2. And that really destroyed the relationship that we had. With my last now, which is my son, by the time he came along, I was going through divorce. So then I got married, had my second daughter, which is from somebody else different. My son is also from my ex-wife, but by the time he came along, we were going through divorce. So then the same thing I experienced with the first girl, I can experience with my son. Mm-hmm. What I had to learn to do, because they're not getting to spend the quantity time that I would have wanted, I had to learn to make the limited time quality time. Excellent. And not to spoil them in the process. Because one of the first things I did when I realized, okay, going through divorce, I'm not going to have access to the children as I wanted, I went to Paradox and did a parenting workshop. And one of these things that I did, I do parenting workshops, but I started for me. So I do them because I know they work. And one of the first things that the lady said to me is, you are going to be tempted to spoil those children in the short space of time that you have them. Do not.
Yeah.
Make it quality, but do not spoil them. So if you have to discipline them, and that stuck with me. So I was able to I didn't have the quantity, but I was able to make it quality time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You are in an ideal position to really speak to fathers that watching this podcast, who going through it's not a visiting relationship. Yeah. We got a lot of men out there that got children and they don't live with the children, and them and the child mothers got some real strenuous relationships, But how do you really, as a father, maintain that positivity? How do you celebrate fatherhood and really project that positive image for your children, even though you may be going through
You want stuff.
an issue with their mother?
Boy, you don't have enough time to discuss that.
Man, we got some time. Give me some points.
For me, it was a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Try not to take things, and when I tell you try not always succeeding, but try not to take things personal. So when mothers react, try not to react to that reaction.
Okay.
At the end of the day,
Give me an example.
don't like bringing tales up to school.
Man, like I said, give me an idea.
Okay, for instance, you and your parents' mother, your child's mother may have different views on situations, right? And a child will be a child. Some females, and if you look, I really don't want to go too deep into this, we just having a talk as men, but if you look at terms like narcissistic mothers and the whole parenting alienation, a lot of men experience, and that I don't want to go into much detail about that. At the end of the day,
Man, you afraid to talk the issue. But I don't want you to go too deep into it.
Right.
But I want you to talk about it.
The fact
You
the
don't
matter
talk
is
about
that,
your situation,
right,
but
so,
let me deal with the issues. Men, let me reason.
So you have men that would love to see the children and would love to do more with the children, but then you have some parents, some mothers, who would paint the father black to the children as a means of getting in between the child and the parent.
So there's a lot of negative things
A lot
about
of
the father.
negative things, encourage the child even to be rude to the parent.
Your father didn't want you, you choose that woman over you.
Especially if you got another woman.
You
Don't
know?
even talk about getting and a woman doing that, so it have to be a woman that you were seeing when you had you could have ended that relationship, start a fresh relationship, and sometimes you still get that interference. So as a father now, you gotta be strong enough. Again, you didn't always get it right, but try to be strong enough and patient enough to understand that at the end of the day, she just being her. My job right now is to be there for my children. So I had challenges trying to see all three of my children at one point in time, from the eldest to the youngest. Had challenges. Many days went home and cried because I can't see my children.
You cry?
My man, boy, cried out. If you
Right.
You understand? Not being able to see your
But
children.
the reason we ask is that a lot of men don't want to cry. A lot of men don't want to shed tears. A lot of men
But then
believe
they act out.
that it's supposed to be this real strong mature thing and they're supposed to behave a particular way and not crying out.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm glad to hear that you as a father who wanted a relationship with your children crying out when things didn't go your way.
And the thing is that we didn't have much support then. So I mean, right now we have men's. Well, I spoke about paradox already. There was not a lot that was done for men. I went to the child care board on more than one occasion, and I felt like if I went to the child care board with a complaint, and I felt as if I was the person being complained for. So there was absolutely I felt as if I was not getting any help at all in this situation. So again, all I could do was to try to make the best of not the best situation. So drop them school on mornings wherever possible and try to have that conversation. Pick them up from school on evenings and try to spend some time with them when they're picking them up. So again, you didn't have the quantity time, but you try to make the little time that you have quality. So my son, who was overseas some time back, heard some folk with him playing old dub, and he was singing these songs, and everybody said, "Babe, you know about these songs?" And he said, "Man, my father used to be playing all these songs when we were in school mornings." So even something like that, something like that, it shows you still have a type of impact. So encouragement, don't get flustered.
Yeah, but you see, you know, made a good point there too, no? You see, it's those moments that children remember.
Yeah.
They got some men that believe, not only men, society believe that if you don't got money, you can't be a father. But those quality moments, those times that children will remember, you know, those experiences, going to the park, playing music, playing a game, you know, just spending time that doesn't cost
a thing.
Yeah, man. But Dr. Walton, back to you. There got a lot of people that believe a two-parent household is the best household for children to raise in. That is a general thing, you know. You should be raised in a house with a mother and a father that is married, picket fence, and the dog and cat and that sort of stuff. How I don't know your situation, but I know nothing is perfect. How when things go wrong between you and your wife, you still maintain that level of positive parenting with your children in the same environment? And you're going to bring tears out of school.
No, but I want my situation, and you know, if you come by my house and the windows open and me and my wife, you know, we having that intense fellowship type situation. Intense fellowship type situation. Like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm a loud person. You know, I'm Bayesian. I was born here, so my voice tends to carry. So, you know, when you get a little, my voice carries. So my wife's always, why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? I'm like, that's just my voice right now. Yeah. And she's always like, oh, the kids can hear and this and that and those. Mm-hmm. And, you know, at some point it's like, yeah, okay. You know, they hear and, you know, what we doing and what's going on. We try to keep it to a minimum. But on the other side of that too, I'm like, you know what? Let them hear. Mm-hmm. Let them hear it. Yeah. My house ain't perfect. My house ain't gonna be perfect.
I like this.
So yeah, you hear me and your mom going at it. Mm-hmm. And then tomorrow you see me and your mom sitting down laughing and joking and smiling at the table and eating and we walking around smacking and all of that. So they looking like, oh wait, hold on. Mm-hmm. That's part of life. Yeah. So we can, you know, you can have arguments, but still come through it. Yeah. Because man, I remember when me and my wife got married, I told her from day one, she was like, oh my God, you know, we got married. I said, yeah, this is all good, but I can't wait for the first fight, the real one. She was like, what do you mean? You want us to fight? I said, yep. I said, the rubber meets the road, I'm leaving, we throwing stuff type of fight. That's the one I want. She like, what do you want that for? I said, because all of this is fluff right now. Yeah. I said, when it's all said and done, after that, then I get to see what this is really made of. You staying, you not staying, we gonna make this, we gonna work this. And my kids are the same way. And I remember one time we had an argument about who yell, who don't yell, and who listening, who this, and it was loud. And I was like, man, the kids will tell you. And she was like, yeah, what? So we went down and involved the kids. My wife was like, okay, so when I'm yelling, this is my daughter was like, nah, mommy, you be yelling and you know, you kind of be zoned out every now and again. And she be like, but daddy be yelling. And so they see us and don't think that you in the house yelling and having an argument and your kids don't know. That's they sitting in the room like, dang, they had it again. But on the flip side of that, like I said, we don't be mad long. Mm-hmm. So by that nighttime or by the next day, she downstairs, babe, what you want to eat and da-da-da. And my kids see that. So even now when we fuss or when we yell, my kids don't even faze them. Yeah. They they be all right. They be back together tomorrow.
I know that. Me and my wife, we got really quarrels and, you know, food ready in the kitchen. You know,
you get that you still love me making me food stuff, but you ain't giving me the same attitude. You be like, here's your food. Yeah. And you be like, all right, fine. Yeah. But on what I'm saying on the other side though, when the kids see it, it's like, okay, you done set up a true outlook of what marriage looks like. Yeah, yeah. How to really get through
marriage, life. Yeah. Absolutely. One of the things that you're basically talking about is being able to bounce back. And they think it is important. I think for me, my challenge and was trying to be the perfect father, the perfect man. Oh boy. Trying to be Superman. Learn the hard way. It's not even real. It's not even realistic. And you know the funny thing about it, the children weren't even looking for that. Yeah. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, trying to live up to an expectation that was fed to me that was not realistic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I learned then to realize it's okay to make mistakes. Let your children see you make mistakes, but also let them see you get back up. So even when it came then to, well, first of all, I mean, when it came to, in particular my son, we never really came to high words. Apart from a couple of times like him being late, stuff like that. But then, not so long ago, we totally fell out. Yeah. Fell out for a good long time. And that was our first major issue, not with anything details as to why. He chose a path that I wasn't in favor of, And I said, I cannot support you along this path. Travel, came back. He had a program happening here, and I decided to go and see the program. Anyway, and all I could do was to just grab him and ask him what I could do for you. And all he said is just give me some support.
Yeah.
And we just held each other in the center of the thing and just cried.
Yeah.
And now our relationship is back where it's supposed to be. He got to see some of what I was telling him about the situation, and he's removed himself from it now, and he's just blossoming.
Yeah.
But the important point that I want to get there is the fact that we were able to come back together after that. So it's okay to have that break, but it's mendable. And there's a statement that I use: broken vessels can still serve.
Yeah.
So each of these breaks can serve a purpose. It depends on which purpose you want to serve. Do you want it to destroy your family for good, or do you want it to help you to build a stronger house? Because you can't build a house with all whole blocks.
Right.
You cannot.
Yeah, it's true.
At some point in time, you got to break a block.
Yeah, the corners.
Yeah,
man.
Can't build a house from all whole blocks.
Whoa. That's powerful, Shawn.
That one free. The next
Yeah.
one.
I like that. I never heard that before. I really, really, really like that. And what's important I see coming out is the wisdom. You as a father, because we as fathers, we got a vision. We talk about having a vision, and we have this idea we want our children to be. We really want them to go, the friends we want them to keep, the girls we would like them to have, or the men we would like them to have. We got this idea of what the future of our children should be. But then our wisdom, the fact that we've journeyed, we've traveled a road that they cannot see, and we give them advice and then they don't take it. Yeah. It's hard as a parent to say let go and let them fall on their own. You gotta let them fall. You gotta let them fall, and that's part of the journey of life. You gotta allow them to fall, but be there when they get back up. Yeah. And I think that's important, especially parenting young adults.
Yeah, man.
I guess the teenagers not gonna go through that phase. Going through the phase where they are now trying to find themselves and they're searching for identity. Yeah. They ain't got the little girlfriends and the boyfriends and the juggling school work, and
they know it all.
Yeah, man, they want to put on this and want to put on that. But as a father to girls, and as I see you shaking your head already,
Oh, man.
And being that image, that first image that these girls would see, that person that these girls would see as a man, what is that like for you?
That's the hardest thing right there. My house, my two girls, I like the fact that they even say now, there's like, nah, my dad don't play that. So, and in the back of my head, I don't know most men, but in the back of my head, and because I've counseled plenty of couples, I've counseled people in families, and that's one of the stuff we do, but seeing that also, that understanding that your daughter is going to wind up with somebody like you.
Yeah.
Oh.
At some point, man, that's, so you get that in your head that at some point, they gonna wind up with somebody that got some traits like you. So it makes you kind of be like, all right, what they see is what they're gonna go look for.
Yeah.
So are they gonna see somebody who's always mad, who don't talk to them, who don't tell them how good they look, how beautiful they are, they worth it, this, that, and that, or are they gonna go out and find that somewhere else? And on being on both sides, this men, right? So being on both sides of that, both sides, before the marriage, before the kids, in the military, back in the day, that's, brother kind of looking all right, had, head was right, so, but, oh yeah, those were the easy ones. You picked them out in the club. Oh yeah, she got daddy issues. Oh yeah, she looking for somebody. She don't know what she really wants. Let me go in and say this, because she'll like it, even though it's a lie.
Yeah.
So being on that side of it, you kind of look now and be like, man, nobody ain't doing that to my daughter. She gonna have a clear vision of what it is. But that's the totality of it now, man. Raising girls, boy, shoo.
Yeah, my fatherhood is is a big task. You know, I guess it's one of the most important
The most.
jobs that
The
we
most
as men
important
would ever had.
Yeah.
And I mean, as we wrap up, there got one thing that I just really want to touch on quickly. You know, social media. There got a lot of people that just watch Instagram and Facebook. I see all these fancy pictures and judging their life based on what they see on social media. You know, they believe that the people on social media life perfect.
Yeah.
And they believe that they're judging themselves based on that perfect picture. You know, we will tell fathers that watch it on, that looking at something like that, engaging how their
Keep
father.
off of social media.
Ain't
Be
nothing
real,
else.
man.
Hey, being
You
real.
can't do
I'm
nothing
being
else.
real.
But on
I am
social media.
hardly on social media,
Right.
and that is one of these same reasons. And then everybody now is an expert on something, so everybody dropping these little hints and so on, which if you really listen to can lead you down the wrong direction. So I keep off of social media. I really don't do it. If I go on Facebook, I go on Marketplace and look to see what's being sold.
Right.
I don't go on people's.
You don't mind the boy business.
No,
Right.
I don't.
Right.
But
I
I can't. I'm on social media, and I go on social media, and we, you know, business stuff, and even some relationship stuff, and we, me and my wife had a little, we got an Instagram page and stuff like that. We put stuff on, but understanding that we make it known, we put in the description, and when we talk, we always say, like we said, it's me and my wife. We've been married 23 years. We got 3 kids, a dog, a rabbit, and a turtle. We've been doing this a long time. So even with the social media, you gotta understand that the people that you're looking at, you better get some background on them. Because these people are like, oh, look at my life. You just been married 6 months.
Yeah.
You don't know what this is.
They haven't had the fight yet.
Right. So when you look down my page and see that, okay, they've been doing this for 23 years.
Yep.
And they still, if you see us in the street, we laughing and giggling and holding hands, you're like, that's still 23 years. Yeah. So at that point, okay. So even with social media, I check people's timelines. How long you been doing this? How long you been doing that? Okay, you say this and you say that. So you gotta have that knowledge with social media that everything ain't always, you know, it ain't always pretty and roses. So understand what it is in the background.
Yeah, for me, right? I just see it for what it is, a pretty picture. Beautiful picture. You know, a still shot of life. A full 2 second of life.
Right.
You know, and I admire the picture, beautiful dress. You know what I mean? If you might go on a nice watch and a pair of shoes, oh, great stuff. You know, good environment. Oh, everybody in Dubai, beautiful. I love that. But I never use that to judge my as a yardstick for my personal relationship. I don't like a lot of fathers to do that as well. You know, father based on your strengths, father based on your principles, your morals, father based on you. The way you father and I father, I guarantee it can be different from the way that Dr. Walton father. So, man, thank you, man. You know what I mean? Like, I really appreciate this. I think that we touched on a lot of issues. I think that we give people a lot to think about, and I really would like to see men and fathers being the best that they possibly can be in this environment. This world needs fathers. No more than ever. We need fathers, and thanks for being on our journey for empowering men.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well. It was a pleasure.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, men and women, because we need women to watch this too. But men, until next time, peace out.